Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight. I'm your host, Josie Way. Co-hosting with me today is Kathy Costa and Ken Demers. Our guest is Tori McNally. I hesitate to say what she is, but I'd call her a metaphysician. She has studied and knows a lot about metaphysics. She has under her belt some Celtic shamanism, table tipping, a recent trip to Egypt, and she knows a lot about Merlin and Avalon. As a matter of fact, her business is Avalon Enchanted.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, I've taken away things for you to tell us about yourself.
That's okay.
Where would you like to start? Like, how did you get interested in the first place?
Oh boy.
Does it start in your childhood?
Yes, actually, my grandmother, on my mother's side, used to read cards and taught me how to read. So I was reading by age 12, and we used to go to a lot of different metaphysical sites around the world. Didn't quite put the pieces together until after she had passed, but we determined that she definitely had a lot. I would call her a hedge witch.
A what?
A hedge witch.
Okay.
Working with plants. So
Oh.
she did a lot of working with plants and plant energy and plant spirits, as well as the readings. She didn't read professionally. She just read for family and friends, and then things got put away, and then things would come out whenever something would happen, and then they would go back away. And then I realized after I had moved back home in '99, I'm like, okay, I guess I need to work with them because I was getting way too many coincidences.
Aren't they neat?
Even when I was living and working in the DC area, it was just one of those things where I heard the call and listened and started working with them again, and decided that this was my opportunity to help people and go deeper into the process. So honoring the Celtic side, my grandmother's family was from Wales, so it definitely is a Welsh Celtic tradition that I follow, working with the Sisterhood of Avalon. So, but I read, I also do oracle cards, I also do different types of healing modalities, so Reiki, IET, which is a
Angel assisted.
Angel assisted, yep. I also do another angelic type of healing as well through another practitioner. And I've recently just gotten all of the attunements for Sekam Reiki, which is an Egyptian Reiki that ties in with Egyptian goddesses. So we call it a duality healing with Sekhmet and Hathor to help with mind, body, and spirit.
Why do they call it Reiki?
I feel they call it Reiki because of the traditional idea of the laying of hands and so
Name
on.
recognition?
Yeah, but I mean, there were so many pieces of evidence of Egyptian culture actually using healing energy, hand healing energy, on the different walls of the tombs.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I know that.
exactly,
No, I was
yeah.
just wondering
Yeah.
They're
why
hieroglyphs.
Japanese,
Yeah.
why they
Yeah.
put a Japanese name on an Egyptian.
Yeah, I think that was more of the modern name that they gave it, simply as a way of kind of tying it together. But over the years, with finding the different tombs and temples, a lot of the walls were painted and decorated with people using healing energy with hands, also with blue lotus and other types of herbs and oils and so on. So there definitely is a lot that they work with, a lot of energetic healing in particular with the Egyptian culture.
So how many, is there traditionally 3 levels for the Sachem Reiki, or is there more?
There are 3.
3, okay.
So I've been attuned to actually be able to start to teach it.
Okay.
And I've actually combined it with some of my mediumship with the table tipping.
Okay.
So what we do is we give people the opportunity to not only go through the healing process with the hands, but we also do a segment where we can call Sekhmet or Hathor or both of them on table in order to help heal any potential energy blocks that people are struggling with.
Okay.
And that
Now-
works out well.
What happened to ISIS in Egypt? That's a total different consideration.
I think it's different layers of times of history.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I also work with ISIS as well.
Yeah.
I spent a fair amount of time at ISIS's temples and tombs and so on. So.
Oh, do they show on the trips that you go to that some of the tombs are theirs?
Yep. So we went to one of the ones that's out in. Oh gosh, I cannot remember the name of exactly where it is, but it's out amongst a small island that it was placed on. And then we also went to another temple in Egypt as well. She kind of has a lot of temples all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's still worshipped in other cultures out in outer space.
Absolutely. And there's definitely a connection with the energetics of her and also Mother Mary, I feel.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Yeah. Because they both come to me as well, though. So I don't work with them in the same capacity as you, but that's interesting.
Now, do you ever combine your channeling with these goddesses? Do they come in through you? What I was leading up
Yes.
to was
Yes.
Arthur. No, Merlin, I mean. I'm sorry.
Yes, Merlin does come in. I work with him as well.
So he actually
Yes, I was
says,
channeling him
do
the other
this
night.
type stuff. And
Yes, yes. So I've been working with Merlin for quite a while, and I actually started facilitating table tipping in, I would say it was about 2011, I want to say. I started attending them in 2009, but I started facilitating in 2011. I found that Merlin was actually my table tipping guide. Initially, it was an entity by the name of Raven, but Raven then revealed himself was actually Merlin, hence the shapeshifter, the trickster energy. So he does help me with that. And he definitely is a big presence in the shop that I do work with.
who's that?
It's Ascension Next in Warwick on Jefferson Boulevard. So
What's the name of it again?
Ascension NXT
Oh,
at 155 Jefferson Boulevard. Yep.
Yeah.
So we actually have a Merlin Wizard Lounge where we do a lot of our classes.
Oh,
which is
interesting.
A nice, yeah, well, he kind of dictated what he
nice.
wanted. And it's all decked out very, Dumbledore's office is the best way to describe it.
It's like, the movie of
Yeah.
Harry
But
Potter.
it's very
Potter.
comfortable, and it's a great meeting location for small groups. And
Is he a taller energy?
was
Merlin? Is Merlin tall?
he kind of shows himself in a lot of different heights. I mean, he's been a lot of different things.
Okay.
Being the shaman, he definitely does a lot of work with animals. He does a lot of work with alchemy as well.
Yes, I was thinking about that.
Yep. And when I focus on alchemy, I'm focusing on more of a spiritual
Spiritual,
alchemy, not literally turning
metal
lead
to
into
gold.
gold. It's really about changing and developing your energetics and recreating them, turning them into something totally different. And also illusion magic. He does a lot with illusion magic as well, which can be very helpful with cloaking
give
yourself.
us the definition of that.
The definition of illusion magic?
Yeah.
I would say the definition for illusion magic would be to use magical practices to create things that might not appear to be the way they really are, i.e. cloaking if you need for protection, or part of changing appearances is all part of the illusion magic. So the shape-shifting is very much illusion magic.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people don't tend to believe in that so much.
Well,
I
they
know.
haven't seen someone do it like you can.
And I get asked that, why are you, matter of fact, I had someone say, why are you focusing on something that doesn't exist? But he does. He definitely does do a lot of work, and he's definitely been helping me as a master teacher along my path.
It's just not very
Where do
popular.
you think your path is going to lead you to?
My path right now, I seem to have a foot in two worlds, and more like three worlds if I had 3 feet. Here, here, but also definitely with the Avalonian tradition, and also the idea of finding your own private authority, your sovereignty, which is good, especially with women's programming, I find.
You kind of lost me with that one.
Finding your sovereignty and standing in your sovereignty is standing in your power. So I work with a lot of women who potentially might be looking to try and find themselves, learn to love themselves, and to find who they really are and embrace it. So that has a lot to do with the Avalonian path, with the goddess work that I do. But then on the flip side, we also have the Egyptian, which is really more of a task of focus on healing, as well as I usually use a lot of the Egyptian stuff for protection, and some of the real magical stuff.
It's different.
I'm a little all over the place. It's a little, it's rather eclectic, which I know.
don't find it all over the place. I find it very much related to each other.
Good,
I mean,
thank you.
No, what do you mean by the real magic when you said that?
Well, what I mean by that is a lot of the, with the fact that the Egyptian culture did so much in terms of the magical thinkings, focusing on the sun as the god. A lot of the hieroglyphs on the walls in the tombs are basically magical spells that are written so that way the pharaoh could cross over into the afterlife. So they
that's
definitely used
interesting.
a lot with herbs, oils, crystals.
Yeah, I know there's very ritualistic.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
what they did every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting.
It was Wicca before they had Wicca.
Very
Yeah, that's
early
how it
Wicca.
seems. Yeah. Yeah.
Very early.
Wicca's
well,
very
they
new.
probably came from very similar roots.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Wicca came from Lemuria,
Yes.
Yes.
which was basically the shaman. And
Yep. Yep. And don't forget, you also have the connection with the Lemuria as well as the Atlantis with the Star People. You know, and there's definitely a huge connection with the Star People with the Egyptians.
I is
Yeah.
one.
In one of his many lifetimes.
No, that's why when I originally came here, that's what
Yeah.
Well,
on this planet the
Me
first
too.
lifetime was.
Yeah,
You
I've
know.
done a couple of past life regressions and they've been very interesting. Definitely all over the board. A lot of magical lives, though.
Well, I think that's what brought you here to doing this now in this life. You know, it's funny we keep doing the same things though in each life though.
but
Yeah, definitely.
to
Yeah.
greater degrees.
Yeah.
Maybe we specialize more.
Yeah.
Maybe we reach out and gather in more information from other arms of what we've been doing.
Yeah, definitely learn different things in each life for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know that there was definitely a past life in Scotland as more of a
For who?
in Scotland.
For who?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Scotland for as a wise woman, witch.
Yep.
I've definitely had a past life. I know I had one in Egypt as well as working in the temples. So there's definitely been a lot of interesting connections, and I'm
Eskimo.
putting the pieces together.
Eskimo.
Eskimo for you?
No.
Me?
you.
There was a Mongolian life, which I haven't dived into, so we'll see. So, but Eskimo, interesting, yeah.
All shamanic countries,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you go back 2,000 years before the born-agains got crazy with Christ. Every culture had shamanists.
They did. They
Yes.
had a medical. They had a medicine man or a medicine woman,
Yes.
a wise person in their tribes.
And many different ways of them also.
And some of them had a couple of, like the medicine man and the medicine woman. And the woman usually dealt with a lot of the herbs and things. And she worked alongside
Some of them, yeah.
the medicine man.
Some of them did everything.
Yeah.
Right. So what else do you do? Was that just about everything?
I really do.
Do you have fun doing it?
She travels
I do.
well, too.
Yeah, I travel well too. I also do past life regression, so I'm able to do metaphysical and clinical hypnosis. That's definitely part of my practice, especially with one-on-one coaching opportunities that I also offer. I'm looking at my cheat sheet down here because I didn't want to forget anything. We definitely do a lot of individual classes. So sometimes I'll teach tarot, sometimes I'll teach stuff about crystals. I work a lot with crystals.
Now, when somebody comes walking into your doorstep,
Yeah.
most people don't really have a clue about most of these things that you're talking about.
We have to explain it.
How
yeah.
do you choose which one would be best for that person?
Many times I'm listening and leaning into their energetics to find out what it is that's needed and going appropriately with the proper course
So you're
of
getting
action.
some kind of a guidance to put you where you
Yes.
want to be.
She
Yes.
asks some questions, and then the questions take her in a certain direction. And, next you hear, sit down and let's look at the cards.
Yep, absolutely. And I've done your cards too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, so there's definitely a lot that I do have. I actually, as I mentioned, just joined the Sisterhood of Avalon seminary program.
Now, how many people are in that program?
There are worldwide about 500 people, so it is a small group that is dedicated to women's Celtic religion, focusing on Caradwyn and
Now, you say worldwide.
worldwide, yep.
How many would be like local?
Most of them are in the US and Canada, but there are people in the UK as well as, let's see, I know that there's actually some in Australia, Mexico.
Yeah, so it's not going to say local for
What
very
I'm
long.
trying to
No, it's
ask
not.
is like
Yeah.
Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut.
They're really all over the place. There's a good size circle in Texas, believe it or not. There's also,
surprised.
I know, there's also a good size circle in upstate New York. That's where
That
it's
doesn't
founded.
surprise me, but.
Yeah. So I would say there's probably maybe 20 of us within Rhode Island and Massachusetts, or
Okay, so
southeastern Massachusetts.
It's not a huge
It's
number.
not a huge
I've
number.
never,
Yeah, if it's worldwide
I tend
500,
to
it's
do a
not
lot
there
of
yet.
things, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But it can help people. It's not like, oh, you only have 20, so you can only help 50 people. It's far-reaching in the way it can help people.
With that particular group, we do a lot with shadow work. We do a lot with finding out how to work through our shadow selves in order to strengthen it and be able to move forward.
Okay, so
Explain
for that,
to people shadow selves.
for those
All
that
right.
don't know.
Sure, absolutely. So shadow selves, we all have, the best way to describe it is we have a box of deep dark ookies that we shove way down deep inside of us. When
Stuff we don't like about
stuff we don't
ourselves.
like about us, trauma, etc. And sometimes what happens is that trauma, for whatever reason, triggers us and percolates up, and will then re-trigger us into potential old patterns that maybe we had before, or just feelings that we just need to work through. So a lot of this is focusing on identifying those issues, identifying the triggers, and then determining how we can take that and turn it into something productive to grow that's positive for us. So it's reseeding it in something good.
Okay, we're going to change to a dark subject for a second.
Okay.
There's two things that's on everybody's mind right now: abortion and all these crazies that are going around killing groups of
And the
people.
mass shootings.
There's a lesson behind that. What would your thoughts be on that? I mean, it's really,
Wow.
yeah.
You
that-
kinda
I don't-
come out
I don't even
swinging,
like the
don't you?
subjects.
Yeah.
But it's,
Well,
nobody talks about it.
No, I agree. They don't. I feel like there's a lot to dive into in the psyche there. There's a lot to dive into people's historical past, and even stuff with past lives that I feel is definitely connected. That I feel
That's
potentially
interesting, yeah.
could have impact on this. So it's not just everything from this life and all the trauma that happens in this life. I feel like there's other stuff from previous lives that can trigger things.
There are things going on higher levels that we can't see so well why they're happening. But ever since World War II and the Nazis and the annihilation
Yeah.
of so many people, we as a civilization have been encouraged to choose sides and to help those who need help, to not let certain things go on. I would imagine with Britain and I think Australia changing their laws about guns, and immediately there was a lessening of these things, I would imagine that that's what we're supposed to do. But people are fighting it.
Yes, they are.
Because it's
But
something different.
we're
yeah.
supposed to join, right now we're supposed to cooperate and join together. And then eventually we're going to have to cooperate with people from other places.
I'm told, that happened a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember now. 50 years is going to be the official contact. We already have it now, I know that. But the official contact with other planets is 50 years, going back 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, so before we get to the end of the show, if someone wants to get in contact with you to get some guidance from you, though, to do, make an appointment with you with the many things that you do,
Yes.
how can they get a hold of you?
They can actually reach me through my website, which is avalonenchanted.com.
Okay.
My email is Tori, Tori, at avalonenchanted.com.
Okay.
That's the best way to reach me.
Sorry, I didn't get to do that.
That's okay. One of us got you covered, so it still
And
works.
tell us again where the store is.
The shop is at 155 Jefferson Boulevard
Which end is that?
in Warwick.
Front end,
Which is the front end?
pretty much close to when you get off the pike.
Off, when you're getting off
95.
95, that's the front
It's
end?
a
I was
short
down there
distance.
just
Yeah.
the other day, I didn't,
You know where Baxter's Jewelry is? No,
no.
It's near there.
it's near there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like next to the Jefferson Diner.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that I
so
know.
that part of the Warwick.
Yeah, it's in that strip mall next to the
Okay.
Jefferson Diner.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
near the bottom end, front end or whatever.
Right.
Is it in one of those big long
Yes.
walls?
Yeah, you know where the
Yes.
Hilty is?
The
And
what?
there's a Hilty store and there's like
Yeah,
a
I
print
saw
shop.
that
It's in there.
It's in there.
Oh, right near there? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Tools, Hilty, I know
In
Tools.
big letters.
I figured once I got the blind look of the jewelry, I thought, let's talk tools instead.
Jewelry, what's that for?
You sound like my husband.
I was going to say the comment of maybe your wife, but hey, such is life, though.
No, he talks about his wife is unhappy, so we can figure that out.
So, could there be any like one or two things that you like the best, or you just kind of like them all?
I
Of what you
really enjoy working with the table tipping.
Okay.
It's something that's part of the spiritualist movement that I feel has been making a comeback. I know you mentioned that you
Yeah.
haven't seen it in quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
Uh,
more
Lynn-
and more people talking
Lynn-
about it.
Brian and Lynn were doing it.
Brian, I don't know if you know them or not.
No,
Kent?
The
The
Kents.
Kents,
no.
they're spiritualists.
Yeah.
They used to be really big into that.
Yeah, I also have been working with more with channeling lately too, so I really have been enjoying that.
Now, how do you
Now,
decide
how
who
do
you want to channel?
Do you hear it as it's happening, or you're totally not there?
I can hear it as it's happening,
Uh-huh.
but what we're doing is we're doing it with the white screen behind us and the red light,
Oh.
in order to be able to see any changes on the faces and
Oh.
so on.
Okay, so it's trance mediumship is what
Yes.
you do. Okay.
That's not your traditional channeling. Then.
Right.
That's what are
It
they?
falls under trance mediumship.
Yes,
Trance medium, yeah.
Yeah,
falls under
and with
that.
the ectoplasm and stuff, I would classify that as part of the physical mediumship to some degree. It's in that
Yeah,
vicinity.
there's not as
Yeah.
much physical
Yeah.
mediumship as
Yeah,
there
it's
was
not-
50
As the
years
table
ago.
tipping,
Right.
right?
It's not as much as
Right.
the table
Yeah.
tipping, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
more
is,
physical.
it's part of, its history is part of spiritualism.
Yeah.
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 So I do a lot with that. I enjoy that. I also enjoy the readings, and I'm really, really excited about working with the Egyptian Reiki and those types of programs, because there's a lot to offer for that.
So how did you find a sacred Reiki teacher? There's not too many around.
It found me.
Okay, that's how, okay.
It
Funny how
found
stuff like
me.
that works,
How do
right?
I believe that? What?
Yeah, yeah.
That happens
So-
a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Do you
there's,
feel
You didn't
that's
know you
because of
needed it.
past life stuff?
I do.
I don't think she
I
did.
do. I do feel like there's a connection to one of the temples in particular that I feel that I felt when I was there, and I feel like that was a big kind of send off for me to kind of explore more.
Now, tying the physical mediumship in with you looking at the temples,
Yeah.
40 years ago, I met some lady who went to Egypt, and she's taking pictures. And some of the pictures, the sculptures
Oh, yeah?
are looking back at her.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Did you see anything like
I
that?
did not, but I was freaking out. One of the, actually the Egyptologist on the tour, and asking him a lot of questions, and then him confirming stuff, and he would just look at me like, "How did you know that?" I go, "Come on."
He's been doing this long enough, he should know the answer
Yeah,
to that.
yeah. And also, I was really, really good at being able to find different pieces of relics. Like I came back with a flint that actually the priests would have used at one of the temples that I found on the ground in the Valley of the Kings. And he was just always just like, I'd say, is this old? Is this really old? He's like, yes, it is. And he was always amazed what I was finding. So when I did find something more modern, he's like, ha, that's not ancient. So I'm like, fine.
Well, that's what happens when you're an older
Did
soul,
you get
right?
to bring it home?
Yes, because it did not have any hieroglyphics on it.
Oh, that's
so
the
that-
criteria?
I have the flint. I have rocks that I collected from swimming in the Nile, and I have stones from the different temples around the temple facilities at some of the places that we went to.
Yeah,
But
so
we have a
definitely-
whole show on the trip.
That I won't be there.
You'll be there in spirit. How's that?
I'll be there behind the camera.
That's in spirit.
Okay.
All right, so as the
we're
credits are
running out of
running,
time,
now,
okay.
can you just say again how we can get a hold of you if someone wants to make an appointment with you?
Sure. Reach me on my website, avalonenchanted.com. The email address is Tori, at avalonenchanted.com. I was giving my personal email there. Boy, so Tori at avalonenchanted.com.
Well, thank you for saying that again.
Thank you.
And let's confuse yourself, though, too.
So we didn't talk too much about my friend Merlin, but
Oh, yeah, we got sidetracked.
Well,
You
he
did it
was
to me.
discussed, though. He was discussed, though, so it was
That's who I
acknowledged.
thought we were going to
Yeah.
concentrate on, actually.
Oh, no, he popped in, though, too, though, so don't worry about that, though. He, I think he's okay with what the Lord that we did talk about. Because he definitely felt he popped in.
he wanted everything spoken about.
Yeah.
Is he trying to give a particular type of information?
He's trying to work with people that are in the process of waking up that really want to do the work, that really want to put the time in to learn how to work with the magical process, to learn how to work with alchemy and illusion magic.
Yeah, that's
So
high level stuff, right?
He's high level, but he's a great teacher. He's hard. He's a hard teacher.
Yeah,
I mean,
those are
I've
the
gotten
best
whacked
ones,
many
yeah.
times with spoons, but he's a great teacher.
Yeah.
Well, I guess when you're that level,
You better know
we're
yourself at
talking
that
about his
point, right?
kindergarten level, you know,
Yeah.
compared to him.
I just want to touch on you do angel readings as well, too, on
I
top?
do.
Okay, is it the angel cards, though, or is it?
Angel cards. Yep.
Okay.
And I also, with the reading, I actually draw the aura of the angels in your aura.
Oh, okay, that's
Say that
different.
again slow.
So I draw the different colors in your aura. You get a
Okay.
actual drawing with the different colors of the angels that come through in your aura.
Is that the guardian angels or the different?
Guardian angels.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not drawing pictures of the aura, you're drawing pictures of the angels' auras.
No, it's
No,
actually
angels
you.
that's with you.
It's you, but it's the angels, the colors of the angels
That's working with you.
that are with you, that are in your aura, that are in your field.
Well, you know how like you have spirit guides and guardian
I know,
angels?
I
Yeah.
mean-
She
it just-
also works with ascended masters.
I do a lot of work with that.
They're just another name for higher angels.
No, they're ascended masters
They've
that walk the earth.
walked the earth,
So they're not angels. Angels never walk
so
the earth.
they're,
I think they're all the same.
No,
we
but
can
they're not.
identify
They're still
with them a
different.
little bit more.
Yeah.
They were with me when I came originally, the whole. You know, anyway.
And why aren't you one of them?
Because I get to experience all this stuff.
His
It's
contract
neat.
was different. He didn't read the fine print, I guess.
No,
So
I
how
get
many
to do
lives
all
do you
this
think
stuff.
were you lived in Egypt?
Oh gosh, I haven't even dived into that.
Because I feel like it was at least a few times.
I have a
for you.
sneaking, yeah.
Yeah,
have a
I
sneaking
did too a
suspicion.
few times though, so there's a strong connection with me. So
How many?
A few
at least
times.
a few times that she's lived in Egypt, at least.